Okay. I forget that sometimes OBS does not want to recognize my Yeti right away. I always have to change the source. Anyway, welcome to an art stream. It's been a while since I've done an actual art stream on the days I mean to do art streams. But here we are. Finally, once again. Music is still super loud in my ear. Let me adjust my volume here. And then adjust it for you guys a little bit, because I don't know how loud it might be on your end. It's killing me on mine. Alright. So, today we are working on Vex'alia, Mistress of the Grey Hunt, Baroness of the Third House of Whitestone, and Lady Derolo herself. For those who are fans of Vox Machina and have seen Campaign 1 or know all the lore and story because you don't want to go back and watch Campaign 1, you know what all that means. But yeah, working on her today. I made some notes while I was waiting for everything to start up. I noticed some things in her face when I went to do the little clip to announce that I would be streaming soon. Face is really weird, so we're gonna fix that. If anything today, we're gonna fix her face because Vex'alia needs a beautiful face. And the one thing is, I wish the liquefy tool in clip would do all or reference all layers like some of the other tools can do. Because everything's pretty separated right now. I think if we look over on our right here, all this is Vex. So I may not actually get to do her or make those adjustments today until I get all the things painted in that I want to paint in while I have my layers separate, and then I can go in and make everything more perfect and polished. And of course we got Trinket in the background here. So maybe we can fill in Trinket's line art at least here. This is tricky because I don't actually have that line art closed off, so I'm going to cheat it a little bit here since our darling lady is hiding a good portion of Trinket. I'm just gonna... do that just to kind of close that all off on Trinket, and yeah, much better. But then doesn't want to fill in that area. Hang on. There we go. Right, and Control Shift I to invert the selection in Clip Studio. And Trinket is a brown bear. Whoops. No, because that's on liner. There we go. Make sure we give my fill a new layer and not filling in the art. Darker, there we go. And gonna adjust some of that fill a bit. So what I'm already seeing here is that probably once I get to painting more of the lights, like lighting in this scene, in this illustration, might give a bit of a halo around Vex's hair to separate her from Trinket a bit more. Like, I know this is going to be his armor here. So we actually fill that in very quickly, because that will change. How we perceive colors next to each other changes everything. Oh, and one thing I meant to do, because I thought about it earlier, I had a number of people start following me since announcing that I'd be doing my solo campaign of Ironsworn that's happening tomorrow night. So I want to just quickly shout out to those people. S5 Photog. I guess that I don't know how to pronounce that as all one word, but S5 Photog. Steve 74it. Lex TP, who followed me a couple days ago, and yesterday Red Win Skaja. So thank you guys for following me, and I'm assuming you're here for the Ironsworn tomorrow, so very excited for that. I know I've been planning that campaign, or this campaign, for a while, and once I started seeing other people like on Twitter contemplating about doing a live actual play, I was like, oh no, I gotta solidify. Excuse me. I ate recently, so now I got all that like food voice after eating. Words. This is not a reflection of how I will be tomorrow night, I swear. But yeah, so I was seeing people contemplating about doing it themselves, like, oh, well, I guess I better hurry up on it before there's so many actual plays of Ironsworn out there. I mean, super dope either way if other people get into it. I recommend the game. I know actually the designer, Sean Tompkin, he was liking my tweets and stuff when I tagged them, and I think he did retweet one of them, which is really, really dope. So we'll see how it goes. I did work a hell of a lot on my scenes in OBS here. So if anything, I hope you guys like my production stuff. If I somehow really, really drop the ball on storytelling, I hope the production is at least good. I'm sure it'll be fine. At most, I may get a little lost on some of the extra bits that Ironsworn offers. I'm using Foundry to help with the rolls and stuff, so I don't have to worry about trying to calculate all those things, but there's so many, like, there's a list of actions you can take, so there's, like, different, like, there's battle ones, and then there's, like, some social ones, and then there's, like, different, tables and oracles for different things, so really, really fascinating game. So I'm excited to try it out, and yeah, I did say it was solo, so it is a game you can play solo. There. Got the basis of Trinket. What was that? What was that layer? That was her lips. Okay. So I did kind of like what I did for Vax, if anyone saw the illustration I did of him and posted. I'm doing all the Vox Machina characters in their kind of end tier, like end arc outfits with their vestiges and stuff. So Vax had his on, of course, because he had the wings. We can see with Vex here, she has her bow. So this is the bow that she got for her vestige. And I see a thing with her hair shape here. So she has that. And I do have almost everybody sketched out. Gra was actually giving me some troubles trying to sketch him. It was more of like, I really wanted to capture that he is a big and imposing, you know, kind of classic barbarian. So trying to make or get that feeling that I wanted in a screen space that is essentially, you know, desktop wallpaper, so 1920 by 1080. It's tricky. It was tricky for me. Like, there's even things with Vex here that I think I could improve on. Like, I'm very tempted to just redo her head so that it's turned more, turn more towards screen right. So her head would have to be tucked down a little bit more. You know what? I'm going to try something here. I'm going to try something. It's going to look very, very weird, but we're going to see how it goes. Okay. So I'm going to select that. Copy. And I have all my layers, so it should... We'll see. Nope. It gave me the wrong thing. Okay. Did that? Oh, I think it did. I just wasn't paying attention to my layers here. Oh, it did. Okay. I see what happened. Okay. So this is being very finicky, but we're gonna get it. Do one above. There we go. I'll merge that so I know. We're gonna try actually just flipping this head, see if it does anything that I like. Other than the eye direction would be messed up. So let's... Honestly, other than having to fix the eyes, I kind of like it better. So let's do that then. Paint out her eyes. Now the shape will be different too now because she's supposed to be looking the opposite way. So with the spherical shape of our eyes, you can notice a bit of a change in the shape. So this side should actually become lower as she's looking the other way. Amplify tool, be my friend. Slight squinter eye there. And since everything is merged, on her face at least, get some of these line details I was using for guide. So other than having to get rid of that one ear back there. It's actually a little bit better. I don't know. I mean, it's really hard to tell so early sometimes. For autosave. That's what was happening. happening there. So that versus that. I think there's still going to be some fussing, but I am kind of liking the more turn on it, and the reason why is because we're having a lot of things kind of going in this direction, like to screen right with all this, between like her legs, the bow, that kind of stuff. So now I gotta start thinking, oh, we do have some elements going the other way, because between her and up to Trinket's head, yeah, we'll have to try and create some intersecting elements to make this more interesting. We're going to have like trees and stuff because she's going to be in Whitestone during the Grey Hunt. Those are things to keep in mind. There we go. All right. So I have most of our base here for coloring. I guess just some of this like kind of dragon scaled area on her side here, and then her belt that holds her quiver. I try to get a bit of her quiver right here. It's kind of between her chest and the bow area here. But I may take it in. It might be too distracting. Though it also helps the fact that we're missing Trinket's hind once I get like the arrows in there. Maybe I will fuss in Trinket's leg, see how that looks. Maybe it might cloud up her silhouette too much. Oh, Trinket's leg will be there for now. All right. Actually, let me flip this, see if I like the face on a flip. Because sometimes flips can change everything. That's why it's very important to always flip a canvas. I think I still like it. Yeah. I think once I actually get her facial features to match up properly, because they're now kind of not all matching the correct planes, I feel like. So like her one eye here is way too high considering her face. So just gonna use the liquify tool that I love so much and miss from Photoshop. So And her nose shape is also going to change, so it should be a little more nostril on the one side compared to the left. Blend out some of the mess here. Oops. Oh, I colored Trinket's one ear gray. That won't do. Right. So I keep meaning to make like a pop-up alert for myself to be like, hey, hydrate, so I'm not always waiting for like a pause or eventually finding that like my voice is getting weird or my throat's feeling dry. We all need hydration alerts, I feel. I mean, all of us do technically, because there's a lot of apps up there. I've seen like a water bottle that is programmed to an app, so it will like measure out how much water is in the water bottle and that it will beep at you like on your phone. I've had the sudden awareness that I do say like a lot. God, the horrors of being raised through the 90s. I wonder what filler words each generation has that's kind of what's the right word for it? I almost want to say cringe, but not quite that. Like there I go saying like so I feel for my general age group, like is the filler word, and to an extent I do see younger generations use it quite a bit too, which is probably because of my generation using it quite a bit as a filler word. Maybe just general for older generations. But I wonder if there's yet any deviation for the younger generations from like as a filler. Because I find with that filler word, it's almost like a beat in thinking where you're trying to grasp what it is you want to say, or sometimes it can be used for a slight emphasis or pause on something. There's versatility to it. I wonder what linguist research papers are out there about those kind of filler words. Like, why do we use them? As opposed to just like simile. Sometimes it's not always just simile. I've just used that word multiple times in what I've been talking about like through this whole conversation. Delightful. Trinket needs some color in his mouth. Just gonna make it all pink for now. I'm pretty sure I have the reference photo of the bears that I used for them here, but I have to see. I think the lips are kind of a black color. For a bear. Eye and that nose. Rawr. Rawr, rawr, rawr. And pretty clean teeth. I'm sure Vex keeps very good care of Trinket. So I am quite excited for the animated show. And it's not just being a Critical Role fan, but also as someone who's studied animation, who's done a bit of work in animation, stuff like that, and just a general fan of animation. I think just for companies like publishers and other such folks that are in industry that push for different shows, I think showing that like all the support behind Vox Machina, like the Legends of Vox Machina and all that support for this was going to be an adult cartoon. And when you compare it to all the other cartoons out there that's geared towards adults, all the adult cartoons tend to be pretty much flat facing, kind of like, describe it, like they all have the same sort of almost sitcom-y setup where it's always, there's not a lot of dynamicness to it. And even when I look at shows on Netflix where I think more variety seems to be in terms of style, I try to think of like, or even other shows, like I try to think of BoJack, or one that I liked was Tuca and Birdie, but there's still like a flatness in a way to all of them, even with when there's like for Tuca and Birdie, there's quite a number of dynamic and goofiness and silliness to it. But with adult shows, it's either, I mean, stylistically, it's always the same. It's either pretty plain, or it goes into zany because they're hitting really like adult themes. And I don't know, it's nice to see like there's a show that's a fantasy show cartoon, but for adults, because all the other adult cartoons tend to be like slice of life or commentary on adult life or whatever. But now we're getting an actual show that's a fantasy story that is a cartoon, because usually all other close to fantasy, maybe fantastical but not really high fantasy, they tend to be live action. So it's nice to be able to get a show that's not family like oriented in order to achieve it. Like I think of shows like Centaur World has some really fun things, but again, that's like family. Or what else is it? I guess Castlevania might be the best other option when you think of dynamic show animated shows directed to adults. That's the only other one, Castlevania. This studio has done a couple other things that are on Netflix I haven't seen yet, because there's like a Greek one I wanted to watch and never got to. But considering how well Castlevania did, I think that animated Witcher movie also did pretty well. So there's definitely a lot of there to push adult animation forward. I just think currently televised, like on cable cartoons, are still stuck in that sort of, keep the visuals simple. And some of the jokes a little crass. But I think all the streaming services are starting to pick up on the fact that there is a want for these dynamic stories, for these dynamic animations. I think a good portion of that could be thanks to Eastern animations. I don't mean just Japan, because there's more than just Japan in animating, because there's great Korean animations and pretty good Chinese ones. But when you look at the comparison, like as we are consuming more from the Eastern animation industry, they have a lot of variation in their shows in terms of audience, and there are such good high caliber animations too over there, that we eventually get brought over and consume. And as we get more audience too here as we start growing older. I know for my generation, like, or even just a little bit older, that's when anime kind of really started to be brought over and really started to be consumed. Like, I remember high school anime all over the place. It's probably still anime all over the place. But we're starting to see that in our Western shows now too. Like, when you consider not just style, because style has started to filter in even when I was a teen. Like, because when I was a teen, Avatar, The Last Airbender came out. So that was one, at least the most popular show I could think of right now, whose visual influence was anime. But I think now they're starting to include, we're starting to look at more content for a wider audience. Sure, I can enjoy a kid's show once in a while. I did enjoy Centaur World. It's a weird one. I don't know if I can recommend it. I'd say give it a try. But it's one show where you're just like, I don't know who would like this. I mean, if you don't like musicals, then you won't like it. But anyway, but that's a show where I liked, but again, it was directed more towards kids, and it had some pretty silly moments. I did really like Castlevania, though. Yeah, I'm excited to see what adult industry, like animation industry shows go. I think also, Has Been Hotel is finally getting somewhere. It's one where it's definitely made for adults, definitely. Not content I would throw at children. And I know their Hell of a Boss has been doing well too for something that's on YouTube. So we'll see what trends and what more is brought forth now with all these shows that are so stylistically different from the usual. Like, I still see almost the Family Guy kind of stylings still trending through shows. Just it's interesting to see now other styles where we've liked and seen in other shows, like all the DC cartoons, those styles are affecting Vox Machina because they got one of the leading character artists from DC shows onto their show. So the trends for the coming future of animation will be interesting. I know I gotta sit down and actually work on my own pitches and stuff. So I think everybody technically does have show ideas. But I had a couple. I know I have one that's a bit of my sort of baby. It's been a long time since I ever talked about it. There's some art floating about technically. I'm never gonna go to it because now I completely hate what I've drawn. It's so old. But I wouldn't mind finally getting all my pitches together, doing all the artwork for it. The thing is, pitching isn't some easy thing that you can just walk to any studio and be like, hey, here's my show, make it. Like, some people think they can just go to Netflix, but you can't. If you actually do your research, you find you have to know somebody that can recommend you in order for you to even just to pitch your show. Which I completely understand. Like, Netflix would be one of those places where people are probably just wanting to get their shows because they're seeing all the green lights for different shows being on there, and they want to be the next one that hopefully does get canceled after one season. Man. I actually haven't watched too many shows on Netflix that were canceled after one season. The only one that's like was absolutely heartbreaking for me was probably Dark Crystal. Because I never got to watch the movie before the Netflix show. So watching the Netflix show was like, oh, this is great. This is amazing. I love this. So unique. I love all the practical work that's gone into it. Great show. And then they took it off air. Now I understand it was super expensive because puppetry is expensive. Like, people think animation's expensive. Puppetry gets expensive. And part of that is there's only so many puppet masters out there in terms of making puppets and acting with puppets. I'm just gonna place this yellow. It's going to have to be fixed when I go back and do my paint overs of everything, but just for a base color. But yeah, that's Dark Crystal was the only show where I think I've actually watched, enjoyed, and then it got canceled. I haven't really experienced the cancellation of other shows. I don't get to watch too many shows on there. My thing is, certain shows I want to be able to sit down and watch, but if I'm working on things, then I can't watch. There's still so many I have to sit down and watch. Like, I have to sit down and watch what's the show? Dang it, I can't remember, and it just got announced it was getting a season 2. Squid Games! That's it, I think. Let me take a sip of water as I ponder this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. Alright. I feel like I'm completely failing at these eyes. I look over at my OBS on the other screen and I see, you know, this here. I'm like, those are two completely different eyes. Her brow's going up there, then yes, we would see it. And her brow is going down on the other side, which means compression. This way flipping doesn't always work nicely because then you have to go in and fix so much. Yeah, it's almost like, okay, I think I understand why. This eye is technically a shade that I can only see from further below. This is my problem. lid should be straightened out a bit more, and the bottom lid, even with it like squinting, should still be a little more rounded. Vex'alia is another cartoon that I enjoyed. That's on Netflix. But again, like that one's a very like cutout puppet visually, and it's very cute, but very simple. It also goes into some really intense subjects. So I did find the latest season 4, did not like gut punch me as hard as the other seasons. Like it seemed from season 1 to season 3, it just was a harder punch each time, and then season 4 was just like, oh. It was still a good season, just a certain character was being very, very stupid. And then they left it like it may have another season. It's hard to know. I have no idea. So much fussing. Eyeshine here, because sometimes I find eyeshines just help make things feel better. Keep forgetting there's other things with liquefy, like pinch. flip back. Come on, hotkey for flipping that I made. There we go. Still have a problem with the eye. I have to try repainting her nose. Quite feeling right. Give it nostrils for a momento. Layers so I can figure out my facial structure here. The bridge planes. There. Quite the difference. There's still a lot of adjustments, but I'm liking it a little bit better. I may just maintain the other face just in case. Because I could flip back. So what's our timing here? Almost an hour. Almost an hour. Well, maybe I'll call it here because there's other things I do want to work on. I just don't want to do it while on stream. Or some things that I can't show on stream. Like I've been working on a dice bag for all my dice because I counted my dice the other day. I have 50 complete sets of polyhedral dice. So that's like the 7 sets, 7 dice per set. I am quite the dice goblin. So I have about 50 of those and then additional singles. So I know I have more D20 singles. But I do have a couple random like D6s and some other ones that were kind of bonus dice. Like when I've ordered from Die Hard, they always tend to give a bonus die or dice. So I got quite a number. So I'm actually in the last stage of finishing my dice bag, so I'm going to be taking pictures of it once it's all done and posting it online. But yeah, so we'll leave our darling Lady Vex'alia here, and may not seem like a whole lot when you actually compare where I started. At most we got flats for Trinket, and we moved her face, which, you know, sometimes moving faces completely can be a big undertaking. And there's still a lot I want to adjust with it too. It's not quite there yet, but I definitely have to move on and paint more of her and then go back, because if you linger too long, it gets hard to notice, and then you're focusing on tiny details when you got a much bigger picture to finish. So yeah, we will call it here. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for stopping by. Tonight I will be on stream playing my character Thesis over on Zeal Daddy's channel. I think this is our 7th or 8th episode that I'm playing in. Yeah, because technically season 2 started a little bit before I joined. But yeah, so I'll be on that tonight. That is 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then tomorrow is my big solo adventure, so join me for that. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It probably won't be much longer than an hour or two. Mostly because for me personally, when I find for things that I'm solo on, I don't want to play for very long. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and you're thinking about a lot of things. This isn't so bad because I just leave it on the one scene while I'm painting, but for the show tomorrow, I have this whole other collection that I flip through and will be flipping through, so we'll see. And then Friday is it's the last Friday of the month, so I'm doing my sketchathon. I'm thinking if I don't get any requests from tips, I may try and doodle out either maybe a couple adoptables. Oh, and I also got to work on my emote set for this week. So though we're going through the metallic dragons. So we did gold first, and then silver was last week. So I'm on the fence whether it'll be copper or brass. Maybe copper. We'll do copper dragon this week. Yeah. So be on the lookout for that releasing Friday, which first on Ko-Fi. And yeah, the sketchathon as well Friday night. Which so many things are coming out. Oh, hey, Don. You like copper? Yes, copper's good. So I'll do the copper dragon emote set for this week, and then maybe brass next week, and then I think all is left would be bronze. And yeah, moving on to other kinds of D&D or general tabletop themed fantasy things. I'm thinking of going into races like orcs, drows, elves, gnolls. Gnolls are popular. I should really do a gnoll. But yeah, thinking adoptables. I'm also considering art that can be licensed for spot illustrations. I know like Drow 2. I know you like Drow 2. Yeah, I'm considering trying to make illustrations like spot illustrations and what else? I guess anything else that can be licensed that designers can use in their modules and adventure supplements and stuff, because there's always a need for it, and they can't always afford like unique art for them. I know, John, you and I have talked about this, how basically when you're on illustrator rates at professional level, a lot of like the common, you know, the layaway person can't afford that for their supplements, unless they do have the money to dish it out because they really want it, but it is a pricey venture. So thought about just doing licensed stuff and then something anybody can purchase to use. Doesn't have to be, you know, one time. And other things too. Like I've been contemplating making character portraits for token use for tabletops, and I've seen some other artists do it. Thought it'd be fun, throw more variety out there and whatnot. Because I personally have not had success with adoptables, so that's why I'm kind of on the fence of whether I should do adoptables or do something else. I haven't sold a single adoptable. I think I've done 7 total so far, and not one. I don't know, maybe I just don't have a style people resonate with when I do my more sketchy one. Well, not sketchy, but my more cartoonish. But we'll see. I'll keep trying. Maybe one day somebody will adopt one. But anyway, time is up. Even with hydration, my throat is getting scratchy. So gonna let it rest before I have to do more streaming later tonight. So thanks for popping by. Gonna save this Vex'alia while I remember, even though Clip does a pretty good job on backup. And I'll see you, we'll see you later. Ta-ta.